What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hello to this episode of MicroStudio. I'm your instructor, Garen Belaney. We are going to be going over a training today talking about what camera option is going to be a good solution for you. Welcome, everybody, to this prompt training. My name is Garen Belaney. I'm the founder of a company called MicroStudio. MicroStudio is your live streaming solutions company. So I work with individuals and organizations to help leverage live streaming to start creating more content, to start leveraging it for your personal brand and your brand for your company, to be able to communicate with your potential clients and customers in real time, and of course, simplify content creation. I work with companies to help them show up looking virtually professional, and this is what you're going to be getting with MicroStudio. So thank you all for tuning in today. We are going to be going over a 3-camera setup today. I'm currently looking over all of the cameras right now. If you are familiar with my content and my work, you're probably wondering why we're a little bit blurrier than usual, and that is because we're streaming right now from my very first web camera that I used as a sales professional over 2 years ago. And this web camera at that time won me significantly more deals working remotely. It allowed me to establish myself, as I always say this, as a credible source to my potential clients when working in a virtual world. And of course, it allowed me to implement video outreach. So I have a very dense, I guess, resume, you want to say it, of sales. I did 8 years of door-to-door selling, very successful in that. And then I completed 5 years in the corporate world as an outside sales executive managing a territory that has the same square footage as Texas. So very spread out, very wide. So this is where I resorted to virtual selling. It reduced my windshield time significantly, and it allowed me to be a more efficient sales professional because I'm not having to travel to all of these small locations around in my territory when I can just hop on a Zoom call and create that exact same effect. So I'm going to get into this. Typically during my live streaming seminars, I want to keep them to about 30 minutes. Granted, I want to keep these trainings to be an interactive training. Now, what does that mean? And this is what I really love about live streaming. It allows my clientele, it allows my network to actually come in, ask me questions about their MicroStudio in real time, so we can actually help simplify that and help you start implementing your MicroStudio on a day-to-day basis. So the last thing I want my clients to do is invest in MicroStudio, get a bag of all of the, their brand new camera, the brand new microphone, and they have no idea how to use it. They don't know how to use proper lighting structure. So you'll notice here, I do have lighting structure coming in. So we're using a lot of natural light from our window here today. So you're not going to be noticing as drastic effect when we talk about key lights, fill lights, and backlights. But you will notice here behind me today, and this is one of the newest announcements that we do actually have with MicroStudio now. So every single MicroStudio kit comes with RGB. And if you don't know what RGB is a light option that's going to give you red, green, and blue options accordingly. And that's exactly what this light fixture is going to give you with the Lume Cube. You're going to be able to choose different temperatures, different colors, and different features. So it's going to allow you to create a more dynamic picture. So if you wanted to instead not use a white light and you wanted to have a blue fill light or a key light, you can start implementing this with your MicroStudio. Now, before we get into this, I'm going to put this back. But what I want everybody to understand, because I get common questions, is, hey, Garen, I buy this bag, what next, right? And I have, I guess, not a hard time, but I just assume that my clients that invest with me are going to understand that they will get me for education. I'm building out digital trainings as we speak. I'm building out set schedules where we come onto a live stream like this and you can ask questions as much as you need. And then, of course, you're going to be getting all of these trainings built in. As you start to grow with MicroStudio, we'll start helping you live stream on your own, help you start producing your own content. We'll start helping you implement video messaging as a sales professional or as any professional representing their brand and trying to reach out. Now, to me, I've always put a huge emphasis on a very clear picture. I talk about this. I keep it crispy, 1080p crispy. And that's because I truly value being able to simulate ourselves as close to an in-person experience as we can. You speak to a lot of content creators, a lot of recommendations, they're always going to talk about audio. Audio is extremely important, and I'm not going to disregard that. However, there's enough people talking about audio. And I understand many are saying, hey, it's about the message, it's about what we're doing. And we have a lot of head moguls, such as like an Alex Hormozy, who's talking about these things. But I want everybody to understand that I work with a clientele that does not have the status of an influencer, does not have the status of an Alex Hormozy, to where the message is so powerful. And we're in positions now when we're going into Zoom calls and we're asking for $100,000 contracts, multi-$1,000 contracts, but you look like you're in your basement. And if you are in your basement, that's okay. MicroStudio is actually able to hide that for simple features like this. Give me 1 second. Let me unlock this and bring this up. I help clients implement green screen. If you want to have a good example of what I utilize for green screens, then I encourage you to go check out my LinkedIn page, my YouTube page. I have a bunch of educations based on that. So if you are out of your basement, that's okay. I just want to make an emphasis though that when we are in a position where we are wanting to create more brand recognition and not have to worry about the hurdles of, oh, is this person legitimate? Is this a legitimate company? You're able to do this with MicroStudio. So today we're going to be going through a bunch of different options here. So this camera that you're looking at right now is an AverMedia camera. This camera that you're watching right now was my very first camera. I went to Costco. I bought this at, I want to say, between $50 to $70 Canadian. I don't know what the rates are right now, but we can, if we have time into that, we'll definitely look into this. I want to keep this to about $215. It's $137 right now, just for sake of time reference. So right now we're looking at the AverMedia, and this is the next step up from your web camera. It makes me sick to think that people still use their web camera as their main camera source. I know now that we are 2.5 years later, when we start buying the newer MacBooks and the newer Windows laptops, a lot of their inbuilt cameras are going to be a lot better than this one that you're watching right now. So to say that every external camera is better than internal cameras right now is very tough. However, we have two more options that I want to go over with you, and the middle option, which is the camera, it's the Elgato Face Cam. This camera comes into the MicroStudio starter kit. And I was actually at a local shop in Saskatoon here where they had the newest M1 MacBook, and I had to test it out because I know Mac has a really, really high quality camera, and I plugged it in, and the upgrade from the Elgato Face Cam from the inbuilt camera blew it out of the water. And I was very surprised on how much it blew it out of the water, because of MacBooks and Apple's reputation for having good visuals. So I'm going to get a little bit of background music as we go into this. We're going to be going through 3 features. So of course we talked about the first 2. This camera is a very, very similar camera that everybody has, very standard. You're not going to separate yourself from your sea of sameness. And this is what I'm trying to get people out of, because showing up like this when you're trying to repurpose content, it may seem okay for right now, but you talk about long-term effects. This is going to be more detrimental to your brand, because you think about 1-2 years from now when you're trying to repurpose this content, is this how you want your image to look, knowing that there's a solution that's better and more cost effective, and knowing that you have a trainer such as myself able to ensure you that when you invest in a new camera, an expensive camera, that you're going to get your value worth. That's what we're trying to empower here on MicroStudio. So I don't want anybody to be having this web camera anymore, because it's completely outdated. But what we are going to be doing, we're going to dive into a couple customizations. So you can see here right now all of the different cameras we have put in place here. So we have all 3. So the very, very top one that you see right now, this is the AverMedia that you're watching. And give me a second here, folks, because I got to get, let's do something like this. Hopefully this isn't, oh, and we have camera 3, so hang on a second. We're picking up this is going to be bad audio. There we go. Turned off the audio there. That's actually really good. Let's do a quick comparison here. So let's turn off that main camera, and now you're listening to the actual audio from the mirrorless camera. So you can tell how different the audio is on that, and what we're actually listening to right now through your MicroStudio kit. I'll switch it back, but you are listening to a Shure SM7B. Beautiful microphone, but this is a prime example of why audio is so important. So let's switch off of the camera 3 here and bump back onto the Shure SM7B, and we'll carry on with that. I'm just going to check the audio just for the background music, make sure it's not too loud. Give me 1 second, please. That's not bad. I'm very happy with that. So here we go. We got the three plays. So let's start first, obviously, with the AverMedia. Let's pop these two off. So this is your run-of-the-mill camera. This is what you're going to be diving to all the time. I don't like about this camera, first of all, the picture's terrible. It's extremely outdated, so I don't want anybody to even use this camera. I'm just using it as a comparison for the next two. You don't have any abilities on this camera to do any manual switches as far as color correction, as far as zooming in, being able to zoom in and out. You have no features with that, and it's just, this is your run-of-the-mill plug-in web camera. And I just want to show, so you can see that you'll notice sometimes as I'm waving my hands, and I just want you to notice the motion blur and how much of a difference between these three cameras are going to be. Right, so let me pop this thing up here. So this is the AverMedia that you're watching, camera 1, run-of-the-mill. Let's pop into camera 2 here. So this, I really love this web camera. This is the top of the line web camera that you're going to get on the market today, and this is the Elgato face cam. This camera that you're seeing right now is the minimum standard kit that you're going to get with any MicroStudio. So this is the camera that's coming into your MicroStudio starter kit. And if you are wanting to find a one-stop solution, I encourage you, go check out www.microstudio.design, and there'll be a couple pre-assembled kits where you make one purchase, and then our team over here at MicroStudio is going to put everything together for you, and they'll all be able to schedule an appointment with you. I can get you all set up with your brand new gear, and then of course we'll bring you into the MicroStudio ecosystem to ensure that you're getting the exposure that you need. We're going to open you up to a network of other individuals who are able to help you out with that. So I really love this camera. You'll see look how much more fluid that looks just as far as a web camera goes, right? So this is the Elgato face cam that you're watching in the middle. Let's pop up the first camera here, and then this is the first camera. See how much of a difference that is just from a base web camera to the top of the line web camera. Extremely cool and very amazing. That's why I love the Elgato face cam. I love all of the products that Elgato has. 90% of the products that you're going to be getting within MicroStudio is going to be consisting of the Elgato family. We have Elgato. We work very closely with LumeCube. LumeCube is all of your lights that you're going to be getting in your MicroStudio. And then of course we work closely with Newer. Newer is going to be giving you your stands, and then of course we have Canon for the camera. So just to give you kind of an idea on that. So let's pop out the oldest camera. So now we have the top of the line web camera. And if you're in a position where you have a top of the line web camera and you're wanting to go to the next level, it's the mirrorless cameras is what's going to give you that significant increase as far as quality goes. So I'm going to pop up the mirrorless camera here. Hello. You'll notice how much different the coloring is. And I want everybody to understand that these images that you're seeing right now have no color correction on them. This is all stock. This is plug and play. And what MicroStudio teaches our clients is when you get a mirrorless camera, you don't just flick the switch and it works. There's programming that you need to do, and if you know what to do, it's easy enough to do. However, when you invest in MicroStudio, when the kit arrives at your door, that camera is already pre-programmed for you, and you can actually plug it in and switch it on, and it's going to be good to go. And that's what MicroStudio is going to be teaching everybody and giving you the power to do that kind of fun stuff here. So you're looking now at the top of the picture is going to be your MicroStudio starter kit visual, and then this mirrorless camera, we have a mirrorless camera feature in our creator kit, which is our most requested kit over here at MicroStudio, but we actually have an aftermarket lens that comes on the mirrorless camera, because this is a very good picture, ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong, but it's not crispy clear. It's not that MicroStudio crispy that we want to teach our clients and provide our clients when they're going into the virtual world. So we'll go over the three. I'll give you some time to be able to kind of view the vertical on this. We are going live on Instagram for the first time, so I hope this works, and I hope this vertical option for Instagram is going to give you an idea of the different camera qualities. And we'll do this again where you can see the motion blur, how clear that is. The bottom camera is what's going to give you that 1080p 60. Middle camera, you're also going to get 1080p 60 on it. And then the top camera, you're only getting a 720 and 30. And if you have no idea what those numbers mean, 720 is the pixelation that these cameras give out. So we have 720 and 1080p. And then the frames per second is how many picture frames are happening in 1 second of video, right? So of course, when you get more frames per second, when you get double, you're going to get double the fluidity. So that's what you're going to be getting. I'm going to switch this over to kind of more of a side angle where you can get the comparison with this. So obviously the next question is, Garen, listen, I have a great message. I look okay on the camera to the left. I don't understand why I need MicroStudio. What's the purpose of MicroStudio? And we go into this now too. It's like, again, we talk about the credibility of it and wanting to become your best self in the virtual space. And there's many individuals who use the excuse of these things to not push themselves forward. They know that they need to look better. They know they need to have a solution, but they just don't understand how it's going to make them more money. And this is what we teach within the MicroStudio Academy, because as myself, as a sales executive, implementing video on its own helped me wonders. So if you're not even implementing video as a sales professional or any business owner, then shame on you. It's 2022 and you need to get with the times. If you're scared of video, let me work with you to get over that fear, because video is not going anywhere and it's only going to advance. And this is going to be a similar case to what I like to compare to as the phone on the wall versus the cell phone. The amount of people that I had say, I have a phone on the wall, what do I need a cell phone for? It just took them a little bit longer, but they switched over to the cell phone. Now, granted, that's a personal situation, so it's not as much of a detrimental effect. However, if you're an individual wanting to really dive into content creation and repurpose content creation, do you really want to be in a position where you're showing up in a 720, 30 frames per second, and then a year from now, you want to repurpose that, and you watch it, and you're embarrassed about how the quality looks because it hurts your brand? You know, at the time and at the moment, we need to understand it's not about us. It's not about us. We talk about this. It's about providing our viewers and our audience with the best and the premium experience that they deserve. Why would you not want to do that for them? And this is what we're teaching at MicroStudio. So I don't need to rant on that anymore. If you're not sold by now, or if you don't find video, you don't really need to be watching this at this point. I work with clients who understand the value of video. They want to become better with video. And these are the options that we're going to be going through. So we'll go back to the quick vertical switch here again, of course, and you're getting the top three. So now I want to dive into more of the face camera, why I like this, the Elgato face cam. And right now I'm streaming everything through OBS to be able to get the highest quality and get the best comparison. But even if you're not using a software like OBS, Elgato has a phenomenal software that allows you to actually customize. You can do color corrections, you can do zoom in, zoom out. There's so many features you could do just with this web camera to make yourself look your best self. And that's why I prefer that over, there's many reasons why I prefer it over from the top one that you see here right now. But it's it's the quality and it's that perception that you're giving your clients and that experience. We don't like Zoom meetings because the quality is usually shit. I have yet to have somebody tell me, hey Garen, I didn't appreciate your Zoom meeting. Very boring Zoom meeting. I never get that. In fact, I get clients that tell me it's the best Zoom meeting that they ever had. And my follow up with people, I don't even have to build credibility with clients. They just know right away. And that's because of the quality of the video that I'm portraying for my clientele. So we go into that. So I love the features and everything. Now I want to go through the mirrorless camera. I'm always going to recommend other people to have mirrorless cameras. And the reason for that, this is the best of the best. And why I love, just comparing all the technology together, why I love my mirrorless camera is because I can take it with me to do videos, to do photos out to wherever I want to do. It's not just a web camera, right? So you're going to your Elgato face cam, you're going to something like this. You're going to something like this, and it's great. It's a great photo. It's good, but it's just a web camera. You're not going to be able to take that with you to do photos of your family, videos of your family, just basic stuff that some might want to use when they're actually using a mirrorless camera. You have that option, right? So start thinking outside of the box to where it's just a web camera. It is way more functional, and that is why I'm always going to highly recommend having a mirrorless camera. This is a Canon Mark II, Mark II, and M50 Mark II. Drawing a blank, but this is the stock lens that it comes with, and it's a phenomenal lens. I mean, you got a 15 to 45 millimeter on this, so of course you can always zoom in and zoom out as you need. So if I need to zoom in, that looks really good, but I can always zoom out too, right? So you have that feature, and it's really cool because it's actually directly on the camera, so it makes it very, very simple to be able to do the switching and everything like that. Where is a camera such as like a web camera or something like that, it's easy enough to do manual switches on the computer. But when I have clients and we're talking about all of this technology and we're starting to incorporate all this technology, I want people to start staying away more from the mouse, using this thing and doing all the clicks and everything like that. And that's why I have an academy. It's the Stream Deck. Again, this comes with every single starter kit, if I can bring this around. So it's an Elgato Stream Deck. This is your remote control that you're going to use, and it makes everything one button pushes. So it makes it very, very simple, and I help clients configure this. Every MicroStudio that you invest in gets a pre-assembled Stream Deck setup. Same thing with an OBS. So you're going to be able to implement all of these kind of things to allow you to be a lot more creative and start implementing that higher quality content that many are desiring. You look at the Instagrams and stuff like that, and any Instagram person I follow, and it's the same people that are talking to you about quality doesn't matter and this and that. They're the ones that are rolling up on this mirrorless camera, and they have marketing teams. And you don't need to have a marketing team. You just need to have a MicroStudio, and we can educate you with that. And you can be a marketing company with this kit. And there's going to be stages to this, but we are going to be starting to hire remote producers, where it's a MicroStudio standard. We run ad campaigns in your local market, and we generate individuals and clients that are looking for content. Found this here in Saskatoon. I'm doing this. I reach out to clients and say, hey, I'd love to do a podcast or live stream with you, because I am a content creator and I do need content. But I'd like to show you what we do here at MicroStudio. And every time they see it, they understand it, they get it. And it's a job profession that not many are seeing yet, because live streaming is it's a sea of blue. So I'm excited to be in that position where I'm going to be able to educate you to where MicroStudio, you're not just buying a bag, you're buying a system. And you have an opportunity to monetize it. You do. If you want to be a remote producer, I can show you the way. I'm doing it right now as a founder of the company. And these two kits that you're watching right now are going to be able to give you that opportunity. So going here, we're hitting about the halfway mark here. We've been streaming for about 25 minutes. Not a lot of stuff that are happening in the chat, which is completely fine. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to put the questions in the chat on the replay. I monitor them, I answer them. However, if you are somebody who's looking to start increasing your professionalism, if you maybe want a video coach, or if you're looking for some sort of guidance on how you can start getting better traction when implementing video, I do have, I want to say it's about 4 slots that I'm able to put into clientele to be private coaching, where it actually comes with the bag and we implement all of this stuff for you. And we have limitations for that because there's only a limitation of time. However, I'm starting to build out the digital courses right now. So the digital academy. So the clients that are jumping on with me earlier, they are going to be getting a reduced price. And why are they going to be getting a reduced price? Because the content is being built. The reduced price, because there's no content in the library yet, you're going to have more accessibility to me. Of course, I'm going to want to sit down with you one-on-one. If there's no training on the questions that you have, I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to make sure that you feel comfortable with that. And then I'll build a training on top of that. But I want to assure everybody, once that training is built, once that library is built, the accessibility for myself is not going to be as grand. And of course, the pricing structures are going to change. So the choice is yours. I'm really, really excited to have you on here. Even if you are on the fence and you don't know how this is even going to increase revenue for your company, let's schedule a call. This is easy enough to do. However, I have the equipment, the training, the capacity to be able to provide you with the education you need to start implementing this immediately. And I've been doing this for over 2.5 years. The response has been great. The education has been great. And I'm excited to be able to be a solution for others where you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours on YouTube like I did myself, teaching myself. And I look at this situation and how I handled the last 2 years is almost like a master's degree, to where it's almost like a master's in live streaming. And there's nothing for that right now. You can go into a broadcasting and you can go into a bigger scale when you're actually in a giant studio. However, I'm just an individual, right? And I was able to turn myself into a content creating machine. I was able to shorten my sales cycles. I got the responses I'm getting, the credibility for someone living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and being able to have meetings with people across the world and them taking me seriously and understanding what I'm saying is of credibility and of knowledge, and I'm not just pulling it out of you know where, right? And this is the power that it gives you. So you don't have to be a master in video. However, when you show up like this and you're expressing your information in your market, in your niche, I assure you that they're going to listen. I assure you they're going to listen. So this is really, really fun. This was a comparison, and to just give you an idea of what these 3 camera options could be for someone like yourself. And I want to make another note that only one of these cameras fully comes in the MicroStudio kit. And I'll dive into that. So this camera is the first camera that you're getting. This does not come with MicroStudio. This is just your typical setup that you're going to get. This is the Elgato face camera. This is what comes in your MicroStudio starter kit. A phenomenal web camera, amazing, and I'm a huge fan of Elgato, their support, and that they have. The next step up in the MicroStudio kit is the content creator kit. And it does come with the mirrorless camera. However, what you're watching this right now is on a stock lens, and the MicroStudio content creator kit comes with an aftermarket lens. So you can only imagine how that picture is going to look for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this was really, really fun. I really appreciate you tuning in to camera selections. What camera do you see yourself using the most? If you do have questions, if you do have concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself. You can contact me directly through email at info@GarenBulaney.com. So info@GarenBulaney.com. You can also head on over to www.microstudio.design, where you'll be able to review your prefabbed kits. You can make a one-click purchase, or give me a follow on LinkedIn. I'm a live streaming strategist. I'm a content creator for LinkedIn. You are watching this episode of MicroStudio. I'm your instructor, Garen Bulaney. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Take care.